Today we're going to conclude with our series on increase, and we're looking at 5 keys that can help us to activate God's supernatural increase in our lives. And this week we've already looked at very important things that can help us to experience God's increase, like knowing His Word, like meditating on His Word, speaking His increase. And these things can help us to experience that. We've also looked at being generous, being a giver, and how that can help us. But today, I want to also talk about something that I believe is very important. And it's so important for us to have a balance when it comes to this as well. And what I want to talk about today is work hard and trust God. You see, it's important to work hard, to be diligent, to not be lazy if we want to increase. But it's also important to not trust in our own abilities or strength, but to trust in God's blessing. And I believe God will help us to have that balance in life. But it's important to have an attitude to work hard and to trust God. The Bible tells us in Deuteronomy 28 verse 12, "The Lord will open to you His good treasure, the heavens, to give the rain to your land in its season, and to bless all the work of your hand. You shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow." So here we just see God's desire to bless whatever we put our hand to. But you see, if you don't put your hand to anything, there's nothing for God to bless or to increase. We also read in Proverbs 12 verse 11, "Those who work their land will have abundant food, but those who chase fantasies have no sense." And right throughout the book of Proverbs, we see the importance of being diligent and working hard. We also read in chapter 21 verse 5, "The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty." So it is important for us to do our part, to do what God tells us to do, to work hard, to have a good attitude, to be willing to serve others, and to do it with excellence if we want to prosper and we want to increase in life. But it's also important to trust in God. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 10 verse 22, "The blessing of the Lord makes one rich, and He adds no sorrow with it." So here we see what makes us rich, what causes us to increase in all good areas of life is not just our good work or how amazing we are, because even the things we do, we can only do because God has gifted us to do it. So it's so important for us to recognize that. But the Bible tells us what causes us to prosper is the blessing of God. You see, we need to trust in God's blessing. We need to trust in His goodness. We need to trust in His ability. Jesus said His yoke is easy and His burden is light. You see, when we work by trusting in His ability, it will always be enjoyable. So work hard, do your best, do things with excellence, be a diligent person. But while you do that, make sure you trust in God and not in yourself. It's important to work hard and to trust God. But I want to encourage you to apply these things we talked about this week. And I believe the upcoming new year can be the best one yet for you as a believer. And remember, it's God's will for you to increase. God desires for you to experience His goodness like never before in 2025. So get ready for it, expect it, speak it, meditate on His promises, and make sure you also work hard and, most importantly, you trust in Him. Remember, you are highly favored and deeply loved.